Teachers, what's the most traumatizing thing you ever found out about a student? I teach 7th grade science, and there was this kid named Tyler who showed up to my classroom every morning at 6 a.m. sharp. School didn't start until 8, but there he was, sitting by my door with his tiny torn backpack, waiting for me to unlock the room. At first, I thought maybe his parents just dropped him off early for work. But after a few weeks, I started noticing other things. Tyler never had lunch money, never signed permission slips for field trips. His clothes were always the same wrinkled t-shirt and jeans, and that backpack looked like it had been through a blender. Other teachers complained he fell asleep in class. But honestly, the kid was so quiet, I barely noticed him. He'd just sit in the back corner, never caused trouble, never asked questions, just existed. One Tuesday morning, I got to school super early because I had to set up lab equipment. It was barely 5:45 a.m. and the hallways were pitch black. As I'm walking down the hall with my coffee, I see someone coming out of the janitor's closet near the gym. It was Tyler. I immediately went into teacher mode. "What are you doing in there?" "You know, students aren't supposed to." Then I saw it. A pillow, a crumpled up blanket, an empty bag of chips. Tyler just froze. His face went completely white and he started crying. Not the fake crying kids do when they're in trouble. Real silent. Tears streaming down his face. "Tyler, what's going on?" I asked softly. He couldn't even speak. Just stood there shaking. I gently pushed the closet door open wider. Inside was like a tiny bedroom. The pillow was actually a rolled-up towel. The blanket was one of those thin emergency ones from the nurse's office. There were crackers hidden behind cleaning supplies and an empty water bottle. "How long have you been sleeping here?" I whispered. "2 months," he finally choked out. My heart completely shattered. This 12-year-old kid had been living in a janitor's closet for 2 months, and nobody knew. He told me everything. His mom got evicted from their apartment. She was bouncing between different guys' places and cheap motel, always telling Tyler to figure it out when she couldn't take him along. So he did. He'd been sneaking in through a side door that didn't lock properly, showering in the gym locker room before anyone got there, eating leftover food from lunch trays that kids didn't finish. The janitor, Mr. Kim, knew but didn't report it because he used to be homeless, too. I wanted to call child services immediately, but Tyler begged me not to. He was terrified they'd put him in some horrible foster home. So, instead, I got our school counselor involved quietly. We arranged for Tyler to get free breakfast and lunch, started a tutoring program that was really just making sure he had a safe place to go after school. The counselor worked on finding family members who could help. Turns out Tyler had an aunt in Oregon who'd been trying to get custody for months, but didn't know where he was. His mom had basically disappeared with him. It took 3 weeks of paperwork and phone calls, but we got Tyler to his aunt. The day he left, he hugged me so tight I thought my ribs might crack. That I teach 7th grade science. I've seen all kinds of behavior, brilliant minds, troublemakers, kids who never bring a pencil, kids who ace every test without trying. But nothing prepared me for Tyler. Tyler was quiet. The kind of quiet that makes teachers forget. You're in the room. No outbursts, no missing homework, no sass. Just quiet. He always sat in the far back corner of the room like he was trying to disappear into the wall. But the first thing I noticed was that he was always there. Every single morning, by the time I got to school, Tyler was already sitting cross-legged outside my classroom door. Always at 6 a.m. sharp. And school didn't start until 8 o'clock. At first, I thought maybe his parents dropped him off early on their way to work. No big deal. But something felt off. He never had lunch money. Never turned in permission slips. Never wore a jacket, even on cold mornings. His t-shirt was always the same faded blue, his jeans torn at the knee. That little backpack of his looked like it had been through a war zone. One strap held together with a shoelace, the zipper broken. Other teachers would grumble that Tyler kid sleeps through everything. But I watched him in my class. He wasn't lazy. He was exhausted. Then came the Tuesday morning that changed everything. I got to school even earlier than usual, around 5:45 a.m. I had to set up for a science lab before my usual rush of emails and grading. The hallways were completely dark, except for the faint glow from the vending machine near the gym. As I turned the corner near the locker rooms, I saw movement. Someone was slipping out of the janitor's closet. At first, I froze. Then I stepped closer and saw that it was Tyler. His eyes went wide like a deer caught in headlights. His face was pale, his lips trembling. In his hands was an empty bag of chips. "What are you doing in there?" I asked, my voice sharper than I meant it to be. That's when I saw it, tucked just inside the closet, a rolled-up towel like. A pillow, a paper-thin emergency blanket from the nurse's office, a crumpled jacket, and an old pair of gym shoes. Crackers stacked behind a mop bucket. A cracked water bottle. It wasn't just a closet. It was a bedroom. He didn't say anything. At first, just started crying. Not loud, dramatic sobs. Just those deep, shaking, silent tears that break you. "How long have you been sleeping in here?" I asked quietly. Tyler finally whispered, "2 months." My heart cracked open. He told me everything in bits and pieces. His mom had been evicted. Again, she was living in different motels with different guys, always making promises she never kept. Sometimes she left him with strangers, sometimes with nothing. Eventually, she told him he was on his own. So Tyler figured it out. He'd found a side door at school that didn't lock right. He came in around 9 or 10 every night, slept in the janitor's closet, showered in the locker room before the coaches showed up. He ate leftover lunch food, whatever other kids didn't finish and tossed. He told me he didn't want to be a problem. He just wanted to stay invisible. He was still trying to go to class, still doing homework, still showing up, and he had been doing it alone. The only adult who knew? Mr. Kim, the janitor. Turns out Mr. Kim used to be homeless in his 20s. He found out about Tyler weeks earlier and made sure he stayed safe, but didn't say anything. He was scared that if the system found out, they'd send him into foster care. Tyler was terrified of that, too. He begged me not to call anyone. "Please," he whispered. "They'll split me up. They'll take me somewhere worse." I wanted to call child services on the spot. Every instinct told me to report it immediately, but I also saw the fear in his eyes. So instead, I talked to our school counselor, Ms. Landry, quietly. She'd been at the school for over 20 years. She knew how to navigate the bureaucracy without raising alarms. We started slow. Tyler got free breakfast and lunch without any paperwork. We told the office he was part of a new after-school tutoring group, but really, it was just a safe, warm place for him to stay late into the evening. Ms. Landry made calls, checked databases, pulled strings. And then, a miracle. We found an aunt in Oregon who had been looking for him for months. She had already filed for custody, but Tyler's mom had basically vanished. No address, no phone, nothing. She didn't even know he was still in California. It took 3 weeks, a blur of paperwork, phone calls, verifications. Tyler kept living in that closet during the process, but at least now, he wasn't alone. And then, one Friday afternoon, it all came together. We had a plan. Flights were arranged. Legal custody had been approved. That morning, I told Tyler the news. He cried, this time out loud. I cried too. The day he left, the whole staff gathered in the hallway. Nobody said it out loud, but we all knew now. Teachers who once dismissed him as lazy or odd had tears in their eyes. Mr. Kim handed him a brown paper lunch bag and said, "For the plane." Tyler hugged him for a long time. Then he came to me. He hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "Thank you," he whispered. Tyler's been gone for 2 years now. I still get postcards from Oregon. His aunt writes updates. He plays the trumpet. He's in drama club. He's got his own room now, with a real pillow and a bed and warm food. But I'll never forget what he said to me before getting into the car that day. "Thank you for seeing me." And I think about that every time I walk past that janitor's closet. Because sometimes the most important thing a teacher can do is simply notice. Story 2. She texted LOL. "You actually thought I'd cancel my Vegas trip for your surgery." When I asked for support during my operation, I texted my mistake. What the nurse told her when she called the hospital later changed everything about that Vegas trip. A 28 male found out about the tumor on a Tuesday. Nothing dramatic, just a routine checkup that turned into we need to do more tests. That turned into we need to schedule surgery. Benign, thankfully, but sitting right on my kidney in a way that made removal necessary. Doctor said 4 weeks recovery minimum. I'd need someone around for at least the first week. Called Gianna on my way home from the hospital. "Hey babe, just got out of the doctor. Remember that pain I've been having?" She said, distracted. I could hear her typing. "They found something. I need surgery." The typing stopped. "Surgery? Like serious surgery?" "Yeah. April 15th. They need to remove a growth on my kidney." April 15th. Wait, that's the week of Vegas. My stomach dropped. "I know. I'm sorry. Maybe you could reschedule." Silence. Then reschedule Vegas. Do you know how long we've been planning this? 6 months. But this is surgery. Gee, can't you just move it to after I get back? It's not a dentist appointment. The surgeon has a waiting list. This is so typical shade. I finally planned something for myself, and suddenly there's a crisis. A tumor isn't a crisis I planned. Whatever. I'll think about it. She hung up. I sat in my car in the hospital parking lot for 20 minutes trying to process what just happened. That night, she came home late, dropped her purse on the counter, and looked at me like I'd personally scheduled my medical emergency to ruin her trip. So, I talked to the girls, she started, and they think it's manipulative that you're asking me to cancel. Manipulative? I have a tumor, which you've apparently had for who knows how long, but now it's urgent. Right before my trip, the doctor said, doctors always say things are urgent. It's how they make money. I stared at her. We'd been together 3 years, living together for one. This was the woman I was planning to propose to. I need someone here when I get out of surgery. Hire a nurse. What? Post-op care nurses? It's a thing. Miranda's mom used one after her hip replacement. You want me to hire a stranger instead of having my girlfriend here? I want you to stop making me feel guilty about a trip I've had booked since October. She stormed off to the bedroom. I slept on the couch. The next morning, she was already dressed for work when I woke up. I'm going to Vegas, she announced. The girls are counting on me. Plus, I already paid for everything. Okay, I said quietly. Okay, that's it. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Maybe be supportive of me having a life, right? My bad. Have fun in Vegas while I have organ surgery. She rolled her eyes. So dramatic. It's outpatient, right? Number 2 to 3 days in the hospital. Whatever. I'm sure you'll be fine. 2 weeks before surgery, I texted her one more time. I'm scared. I've never had surgery before. I really need you there. Her response came 3 hours later. LOL. You actually thought I'd cancel my Vegas trip for your surgery. It's not even cancer. Stop being a baby. I texted back. My mistake. Then I started making other arrangements. Update 1. Morning of April 15th. Gianna left for the airport at 5 a.m., gave me a quick peck on the cheek, and said, don't die. Or whatever. My sister Ruby drove me to the hospital at 8 a.m. She'd flown in from across the country when I told her Gianna wasn't going to be there. I still can't believe she went to Vegas, Ruby muttered, helping me check in. Her trip, her choice. Her boyfriend's surgery should trump a girl's trip. Apparently not. The prep nurse, an older woman named Dorothy, was doing my intake when she asked, is your emergency contact still Gianna Martinez? No. Changed it to my sister, Ruby Conrad. Dorothy made notes. Good to have family here. Your girlfriend couldn't make it. Ruby snorted. She's in Vegas. Dorothy's eyebrows shot up. Vegas? During your surgery? Booked the trip before we knew about the surgery? I explained and she still went. Yep. Dorothy shook her head but stayed professional. Well, you're in good hands here. We'll take excellent care of you. Surgery went well. Woke up groggy but tumor-free. Ruby was there with bad coffee and good energy. But here's where it gets interesting. Around 6 p.m., my phone started blowing up. Gianna, why aren't you answering? Hello. I know you're mad, but this is childish. Pick up your phone. Ruby, read them out loud since I was too drowsy. Want me to respond? Nah, let her sweat. At 8 p.m., the hospital phone at the nurse's station rang. Dorothy came in looking amused. Mr. Conrad, there's a Gianna Martinez calling from Las Vegas. Says she's your girlfriend and demands to speak with you. I'm sleeping, I said. Are you though? Dorothy winked. Absolutely unconscious. Understood. She left and came back 10 minutes later. She's persistent. Called 3 times. Want me to give her an update? Tell her whatever you think is appropriate. Dorothy's smile was slightly evil. Oh, I'll handle it. Later, Ruby filled me in on what she overheard. Dorothy told Gianna that I was unconscious and unresponsive. Technically true. I was napping. That surgery had complications. Removing the tumor was complicated, and that only immediate family was allowed information. Hospital policy she chose to enforce. Gianna lost her mind. The texts came in rapid fire. What do you mean complications? Dorothy said, you're unconscious. Why is Ruby there and not me? This is insane. Pick up right now. I'm booking a flight. Home. Then the kicker. If you die, I'll never forgive myself. Ruby laughed so hard she snorted. Now she cares. Apparently Dorothy sold it. Well, want me to tell her you're okay? Let's wait until tomorrow. I'm tired. I wasn't being petty. Okay, maybe a little. But mostly I was exhausted and hurt and didn't have the energy to deal with her. Drama from Vegas. Ruby posted a photo on Instagram that night. Just her reading in a hospital chair with the caption, "Best Sister Award goes to me." No mention of me. No location tag. Nothing to indicate what hospital or why. But Gianna saw it. Is that the hospital? Why is Ruby posting? What aren't you telling me? I'm coming home. I turned off my phone and went to sleep. Update 2. I woke up the next morning to 73 texts and 31 missed calls. Ruby had been fielding them all night. She actually tried to FaceTime me at 3 a.m. Ruby said from a casino drunk. Please tell me you didn't answer. Oh, I answered. Told her you were in the ICU and couldn't have visitors. I'm clearly not in the ICU. She doesn't know that. I was vague but concerning. You're evil. I learned from the best. Remember when you told my ex I joined a cult? He was cheating on you and your girlfriend abandoned you for Vegas. Fair's fair. Dorothy came in for morning rounds. Your girlfriend called the nurse's station 17 times last night. 17, we started a tally. Night shift made it a game. She showed me a piece of paper with tally marks. She's very concerned about your critical condition. What critical condition? The one she assumed when I said you were unconscious. I never said. Critical. She filled in those blanks herself. You're my favorite nurse. 30 years of dealing with difficult families. I know how to handle Vegas girlfriends. By afternoon, Gianna had blown up social media. Posted on Facebook. Emergency. Flying. Home from Vegas. Nolan is in critical condition. Please pray. The comments were immediate. OMG, what happened? I thought it was routine surgery. Praying for you both. My buddy Terrence texted me. Bro, are you dying? Gianna's post has you on life support. I'm literally eating jello right now. She says, you're critical. Critical appetite for this jello. Maybe want me to comment that. Please don't let her dig this hole. Ruby was documenting everything. She's posting from the airport now. Mascara running. Full breakdown mode. What's she saying? Rushing home to my baby. Some things matter more than vacation. Should never have left. Crying emoji. Heart emoji. Prayer hands. Now she figures that out. My favorite comment is from someone named Bethany who wrote, but didn't you say he was being dramatic about the surgery? Bethy's a real one. Gianna responded, that was before complications. The thing is, I wasn't planning any of this. I just didn't correct her assumptions. She heard unconscious and built a whole narrative. I just let her. Dr. Williams came by. That afternoon. Good news. Everything looks great. You can go home tomorrow. Already? The surgery went perfectly. No reason to keep you. Hear that? Ruby said loudly. Perfectly. No complications whatsoever. The doctor looked confused. Ruby showed him Jana's posts. Oh my, he said. That's creative interpretation of post-operative recovery. She wasn't here to get actual information. I explained. Vegas was more important, Ruby added. I see. Well, medically speaking, you're doing excellent. Whatever's happening on social media is beyond my expertise. Gianna landed that evening. Called Ruby from the taxi. Which hospital? Which hospital? He's sleeping, Ruby said calmly. I don't care. Tell me where. Family only right now. Doctor's orders. I'm his girlfriend, who went to Vegas during his surgery. Tell me where he is. Ruby hung up. The texts escalated. This is insane. I have rights. You can't keep me from him. I'll call every hospital in the city. She actually did, starting calling hospitals asking for me. But here's the thing. I was registered as private at Ruby's request. Unless you knew exactly which hospital and had the patient code, they wouldn't confirm I was there. Gianna spent the entire night driving to different hospitals. Dorothy on her night shift kept us updated. She called here 6 times. I may have implied you were transferred to a specialty unit. Which specialty? I didn't specify. Let her imagination run. You're all terrible, I said, not meaning it. Honey, I've seen a lot in 30 years. Girlfriends who can't skip Vegas for surgery. They get what they deserve. Final update. Day 3. Discharge day. I was packing up when Gianna finally found me. She burst in looking like she'd been through war. Makeup smeared, hair wild, designer Vegas outfit wrinkled. Nolan, oh my God, you're alive. Clearly, I've been looking everywhere. Ruby wouldn't tell me anything. The nurses kept saying you were critical. No one said critical. You said critical. Dorothy said you were unconscious. I was napping. She said complications. Surgery is complicated. That's not the same as having complications. She stared at me, then at Ruby, then back at me. You let Me think you were dying. I let you think what you wanted to think. Just like you thought Vegas was more important than my surgery. That's different. How? I didn't know it was serious. All surgery is serious. Gee, you're fine. You're literally fine. Yeah, no thanks to you. She sank into the visitor's chair. I left Vegas early. I gave up 2 days of my trip. Want a medal? I was worried sick. Were you, or were you worried about how it looked that you weren't here? That's not I posted asking. For prayers. Ruby snorted after Bethany called you out. Who's Bethany? Your Facebook friend who remembered you calling Nolan dramatic. Gianna's face went red. I was venting. Girls vent to everyone except me apparently. I said you manipulated me. Made me think you were dying. I texted you once. Everything else was. Your assumption. The nurses lied. The nurses were vague. You filled in the blanks. She stood up, pacing. This is so messed up. I'm the victim here. The victim of what? Manipulation. Emotional terrorism. Emotional terrorism. Ruby laughed. Girl, you went to Vegas during his surgery. It was planned. So was the tumor removal. I can't believe you're taking his side. I'm taking the side of the person who actually had surgery. Dorothy came in with discharge papers, took one look at Gianna, and smiled. Oh good. You found us. How was Vegas? Gianna's mouth opened and closed like a fish. I hope it was worth it. Dorothy continued. Your boyfriend's been a model patient. His sister, too. Real family shows up when it matters. The burn was so smooth, I almost felt bad. Almost. We're leaving, Gianna announced. I'm taking him home. Actually, I said, Ruby's taking me to her hotel. I'm staying there for a few days. What? Doctor wants someone monitoring me 24/7 for the first week. Ruby took time off work. You've got Vegas to get back to. Vegas is over. I came back 2 days early. After thinking I was dying. Not exactly the support I asked for. This is ridiculous. We live together. About that, I pulled out my phone. I've already arranged for movers. I'll be out by the end of the month. You're leaving me? I'm prioritizing my recovery with people who prioritize me over a trip. Over you choosing a trip during my surgery. Over you calling me dramatic over LOL. You actually thought I'd cancel Vegas. She grabbed her phone. I'm deleting that. See? Deleted. Cool. Still happened though. Nolan, please. Let's go home and talk. I'm going with Ruby. You should probably get back to your apartment. Don't want you to miss any more vacation time on my account. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you went to Vegas. She tried one more manipulation. What will people think? Everyone saw my posts about rushing home. Tell them I made a miraculous recovery, or tell them the truth that you abandoned me and got called out. Your choice. She stormed out. 20 minutes later posted, some people can't handle strong, independent women who have their own lives. Grateful. Nolan's okay, but shocked by the manipulation. Need my girls more than ever. The comments were brutal. Girl, you went to Vegas during his surgery. Independent is different from selfish. Maybe he manipulated you because you abandoned him. She deleted the post within an hour. I'm writing this from Ruby's hotel room. Surgery recovery is going well. Already got 3 messages from Gianna's friend saying she's devastated and didn't mean it. Cool. She can be devastated in the apartment she'll now pay for alone. My favorite part, Dorothy connected me with the patient advocate before discharge. Turns out requesting privacy during medical procedures is totally normal. Limiting information to immediate family standard protocol. Nobody lied to Gianna. They just followed policy for a patient whose emergency contact was his sister, not his Vegas-bound girlfriend. She created her own drama because she couldn't imagine I'd be fine without her. Turns out I'm better than fine. I'm free and my kidney is doing great, too. Edit. Since everyone's asking, yes, I'm keeping Dorothy's tally sheet. Framing it. 17 calls in one night. Has to be some kind of record.